Good afternoon, everyone. Pleasure to be here getting this webinar, Productive AI, how to use AI to make your productivity soar, right and going. So we're just going to wait a little bit here as people trickle in to the meeting. We'll give it 2, 3, 4 minutes, depending on how people are trickling in, and take it from there. So while we're waiting here, uh, anyone who's using AI actively right now, you can drop in the chat what kind of AI tools you've heard of or seen or tried, anything like that. Put it on in the chat. We can discuss a little bit if you have anything. Okay. You're saying Copilot. Yeah, we talk about Copilot a little bit here. Focus mostly on Chat GPT today. It's one of the industry standards, but Copilot is an alternative, even based off of some of Chat GPT technology. So good that you're using that. How's it working for you? Pretty good. All right, good, good. Anything else anyone's ever heard of that you're using right now, or you're thinking about using, or anything like that? No? All right. Let's see. We have another minute or two. We'll let the last people trickle in, then we'll get started. Oh, at the time, actually, we're already at 3:03 here, so we probably should dive right in. This presentation today should only take about 30 of your minutes, so not so long. And this is geared for the executive team, the ownership team, who is just not sure where to get started with AI. So here's what we're going to be doing today. One, we're going to look a little bit about how AI boosts productivity. Then we're going to take a look at some real world examples as we're going through of AI in business tools and how it works. We're going to go a little bit over the dark side of AI, as in how are cyber criminals using AI, and they are getting creative with it, let me tell you. And then next up, we're going to go into defense, how you can protect yourself also with AI. And as a bonus, if we have some time at the end, might even show you all some of the tips and tricks that I myself am using to maximize my and my team's productivity with AI. There's a lot of good stuff. So this presentation here is based on my short book, Productivity with AI, which I will get everyone who attends today a copy of. Send it on over to you. It's an ebook. And that ebook is actually based on chapter 2 of my longer form factor book, which is going through publishing right now. So keep an eye out for that. Now, what we're going to be doing is diving headfirst in on some real world things you can start with right now, today, to get your AI journey off the ground. And without further ado, let's jump right in. So, what challenges might you be facing currently in your business? I know we work with a lot of distribution, a lot of construction, and a lot of legal firms. These challenges are probably pretty broadly applicable to most businesses, though. Things like slow client acquisition. Some legal firms might not have that problem, others may. Some construction firms might not have that problem, others may. We all want more client acquisition, though, correct? Inefficient workflows. What things are taking too long on a day to day, not just for yourself, but for your team as well? Think about writing reports. Think about emailing back and forth with clients, gathering information, putting together executive slide decks that your team might be doing for you. How much loss of productivity and high value activity time are we expending on things like that? Perhaps a lot. Employee burnout. Maybe there's just too many things to do and too few people to get them all done in a timely manner. Well, what's the solution to all this? Let's implement AI. Let's boost the productivity baseline that you have right now through the stratosphere and get you and your team working smarter, not harder. What does that even look like? When can we start doing it? Well, the good news is we can start doing it right now, very, very easily. Now, before we dive in to talking about what pieces of productivity we can really sink our teeth into, we need to first talk about where we're doing it. Now, for the purpose of this slideshow, I'm using ChatGPT in all of my examples except for one or two. That doesn't mean you have to be using ChatGPT. You can be using Google Gemini. You can be using Copilot. There's a plethora of AI tools out there right now. What I will say is that I myself have personally experienced the best results with ChatGPT. So for the slideshow, that's what we'll be using. Also, I want everyone to be mindful, as much as the AI companies tout it, there's the free plans and there are the paid plans. Now, if we are using AI for business purposes and we get even a smidge of value out of it, I would highly encourage everyone here to go for the paid plans. I know that ChatGPT and Gemini, and they all say your data stays private and everything like that, but we all know the age-old adage here. If something is free, we are likely the product, right? So let's elevate ourselves to the paid tier, get the confidence that our data is not being used to train the model and getting leaked out into the world, like you may have so famously heard happened, I believe it was to Samsung when AI first got going, and one of their engineers dumped a bunch of stuff right into AI, and then it was suddenly available on the internet when other people asked the AI. Let's avoid that. Let's hop into one of the paid tiers, keep our data safe, keep our companies safe. One more pro tip. Never, 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 never enter personally identifiable information or highly sensitive confidential information into an AI system. The only asterisk here might be if you have a local large language model or AI on premises that you host yourself, or if you're paying for the enterprise versions of these plans where it's super locked down and everything's super confidential and highly regulated. If you're not doing one of those two things, and I can guarantee none of us on this call are, I would avoid entering that super sensitive data. Things like your quarterly financials and your employees' social security numbers, don't put those in an AI system. It's not a good idea. So with that being said, let's take a first look at Word and other document apps, right? So these are apps that are we as executives and also our employees might be spending a lot of our time reviewing, creating, looking at a variety of different things could be happening here. Let's think about how much time we could save if instead of having your team summarize a 20-page contract, an AI could do it for you in 10 seconds. What about a 80-page standard operating procedure? Well, that's pretty long, right? We have to sit there and read that and make sure it's correct. We could boil that down into a highly digestible format for our team in a matter of seconds. Things like this showcase the real power of artificial intelligence and show how you can both yourself and have your team trained up on this real fast, get using it real fast, and then get results real fast. So what else could it do? Find references for you. This is very powerful. Let's say you're working up a piece of marketing collateral for your next construction project. You want to put out in the world that you are the firm who is doing this project, but you want some numbers that go with it. Well, AI can search the web on your behest and grab these numbers and reference them for you to double check and then place in your marketing collateral. I use the word reference here, and I'm going to strongly encourage you to actually look at what the AI is producing and not blindly put it out in the world. Never blindly put it out in the world. AI can do this thing called hallucination. Now, it's getting better, but it still does do this. So I like to encourage everyone I talk to treat AI like a junior associate, the best junior associate you've ever had, but still a junior associate. They're going to produce some good work, but you want to get one of your more senior staff to look that over and make sure that what they're producing is on brand and correct for your business. What else could AI do? Draft proposals, the whole proposal. Imagine this for our legal clients out there. Let's move over to a contract area. Let's think about wills and trusts, right? So a good number of lawyers out there might have a fairly standardized will template, so to say, and then we fill in the information that we need from the clients as they come through to you. Well, what if we could, instead of writing that over and over again, or templating out literally in Word and having a million copies of it, what if we were able to feed the AI all the last versions, stripped out sensitive information from your past clients, and then we might be able to have AI draft new versions of that will, which sound like you and include all the things that you normally would, but it takes a fraction of the time to get it done, literally in the blink of an eye. This is the power of AI. So on the next slide here, what we have is the two documents that I had one of my team create, right? So you can see a document called Build Complications, and you can also see the construction template. Now, we are going to ignore the construction template for this immediate term, but we are going to generate a summary of the build complications. Now, watch how easy this is. Our team member here is simply going to ask to generate the summary of the following document and make sure to note where the construction site is located in that summary. Now, since we gave it a specific ask, it's going to provide a specific result. We can get much more granular with this if we were looking for specific points or figures or anything else. But what you can see here is you can see that the AI did, in fact, generate a summary. Now, this document, might I add, was a 17-page document, but we were just able to instantly, in the blink of an eye, generate a summary of this. Notate up top where the site was, right? And now we have this ready and available. We can easily copy this in to a Word document now. If you see the buttons, don't mind me pointing, it's where my presentation is. The buttons down in the bottom right, it's two squares next to the thumbs up on screen there. It's just, if you can see my mouse over here, that is the copy button. All it would take is us to paste this into a Word document. Now we have a completed summary for printing and distribution to our team on the build complications. Extremely impressive, and can easily be applied in distribution and legal settings as well as any other businesses that might be listening to this. I'm confident that everyone here listening right now is already thinking of ways that they could be using this technology to minimize at least one of your employees' times that they're investing in the day. And that's what we're looking for. Every hour we can shave off of a human's time and give it to AI is an hour that human can now be focused on high value activities that drive revenue for the business. Let's keep moving here. What you're going to see, sorry about that. We're moving on the chat platforms. I don't know why I repeated there for a second. So what we're doing with chat platforms is more and more ingrained in our daily lives. Look, we're all here right now in a chat platform watching this webinar, except for me, who's in a chat platform giving this webinar. Think about all the meetings you have that are virtual meetings now. You're on Zoom, you're on Teams, you're all over the place. There's a million of these platforms out there. You have to get into the meeting and you have to take notes on the meeting. And if the meeting's important, well, then you have to sit down and talk about it with your team. And what was the result of the meeting? How did the meeting go? And all of these tasks, they add up and they add time to your day. And it's not high value time. It's low value time, regurgitating the information you already heard and transferring it to other people within your organization. Well, imagine a world where at the end of the meeting, you can instantly get a summary of the meeting, sent right to your email, and distribute it to the rest of your team that also has the key points, the decisions that were made in the meeting, the stakeholders that were in the meeting, and everything else you need. You just shaved off at least an hour. It could be more if you're anything like our organization where you have a few people involved and we all have to get together and meet. And the bigger you get, the more complicated that problem gets. You have to get more people involved and more people need to be at the table. And it just creates such an unnecessary mess nowadays where we can have this stuff done in a heartbeat. And now I've given this presentation once in person before. I didn't have my little tool when I was in person, but I also want to show everyone on my desk here. I have this little device. Applaud is what it's called. And I'm not sponsored by Applaud. I have no relation to Applaud. But what I can say is that it's the same thing as what I just spoke about here, but for in-person meetings where we don't have a screen between us. So that's a really powerful tool that can do the exact same stuff, but without the computer in the middle. Very awesome. So let's think and look at an example of this in real time, right? So you can see on screen here is Ring Central. Now, what I will say is Ring Central is still working its AI stuff out. It's one of the tools we happen to use here at X Solutions. I wouldn't say it's the best tool for this job at this minute, but as time progresses, it is getting better, and there are other tools to do this. I would highly encourage people to use the built-in tool with their platform of choice, like Teams or Zoom. They all have these tools. In this one, it's Ring Central. This is our phone system. So what you're going to see on screen here is one of our team members made a test call just so we can demonstrate the transcription process of Ring Central. Now, that's powerful in and of itself. I'm sure you can imagine. Imagine a world where we take it to the next level. Let's say we have this phone conversation, which there it is, we did it. And then we exported that transcript into another AI. This is very easy, by the way. All of this is copying and pasting. There's no crazy technical thing, no magic happening behind the scenes, just giving AI the context and knowing the right context to give it, which we're going to discuss here in a minute, And also, I'm going to get you all a copy of at the end of this webinar. But we take it over, we copy it into another AI, and that AI, it grades the representative who took the call based on their civility, their tonality, and if they were able to appropriately set the appointment or move to the next step of whatever type of business we're trying to run to get these prospects moving through our pipeline, right? Well, now we can have that grade emailed over to the management team, and we can start getting numbers of, well, hold on, why is every time Mark on the phone, we only get 20% of the prospects into the meeting, but when Steve is on the phone, 80% come through? What's happening here? We can identify these core deficiencies and solve them. And we didn't have to spend one of our managers' days having him sit there and listen to all of our employees the whole day, which, might I add, less efficient in multiple facets, least of all that when a manager is sitting there watching someone, well, most people are going to perform better than they would have otherwise because they want to keep their job. So they're going to put that little extra pep in their step. Whereas this system is on all the time, it is constantly monitoring, and it will constantly help people improve. And for the employees that really want to improve and achieve great things, this is a value add for them as well. So we have this in the phone system. We have this exact same tool technology in our virtual meetings, and it can be revolutionary to all of our businesses. You're not going to want to sleep on this. So next up, a lot of us, especially our financial friends in the chat, spend a lot of their day in spreadsheets. It could be Excel or Google Sheets or whatever tool you're using. Now, if you remember back to the beginning of the webinar, I said don't put confidential information in an AI, especially not the free ones. And I'm going to stick with that. Do not put confidential information in an AI. However, we're all aware that not every single number in our finances is confidential. And we can obfuscate some of these numbers and make them less relevant for an AI and less confidential if we're entering them in. The numbers I specifically want to track here for the sake of this presentation are not key figures or profitability by client or things like that, because those I would say should stay confidential. But things that you can track easily and that are less confidential, well, sales data, right? How much closed business has been brought through the door. I would not break this down into profitability by client, but I would track the number itself coming through. That could be valuable for the business, and that could help us further grow and identify areas where we have room for more growth, where our high value activities are, things of that nature. What else could we do? We could track supplier payments. Look, we all work with a lot of vendors here, right? So when numbers come in, sometimes they can get pushed to the wayside. Maybe even we ourselves are guilty of this. Maybe we've sent the wrong amount of money to one of our vendors, and maybe they told us, maybe they didn't. If we're working with good vendors, hopefully they're all telling us, but these things happen. So we can have an AI flag this and check for it before it becomes a problem. Manage inventory reports. Huge. Think about how much time inventory takes one of your employees, right? Someone's sitting there and reviewing that sheet and then cross-referencing everything. Well, if we have an inventory system already, we're scanning things in, we can export that data, look at the report, and over time, if we're doing this month over month, we can start getting predictive with it based off of demand. And AI will know, well, we have this many widgets right now, and in September, we normally sell double the widgets, so we better order a larger number. And on top of that, it is then able to factor in a wider range of market statistics that we ourselves might not be thinking of every single day, but that the AI has access to with its vast wealth of knowledge. Last but not least, streamlining customer feedback. So let's take a look at our CSAT, our customer satisfaction survey systems, everyone. We're getting a lot of good surveys. Hopefully everyone in this room is asking their customers for reviews or testimonials or some kind of ranking. Well, let's load all that stuff in to one of our AIs and really identify customer sentiment, really see if there's repeating pain points that we can address moving forward to make them non-issues, or really see if there's something that we're doing right every single time. And then maybe we should be marketing that. Think of the value that you could gain from these types of things. Astronomical. Let's take a look at this next video. So here's where we're going to get back to that Excel sheet from earlier. What we're going to do is we are going to upload the Excel sheet here. You can see we uploaded payment history. Essentially what this is, just to pause it, is a very simple sheet that I had created for this test of the list of clients and the status of whether they were paid or not. Now, in days past, in days gone, we may have had an employee go through and do this. Now, if you're using Excel and you're good with Excel, we all know that you could filter this very well. But imagine more complicated scenarios, right? This is a very basic example to showcase the power. So what you're going to see is we're going to ask the AI to summarize the list of accounts that are not paid. You can see instantaneously that AI lists that there are 109 accounts under the not paid status. Think about what we can do with this data on a broader scale. Let's say where there were 15 other columns and we're starting to get into complicated formula territory to make some of these things happen. Things like, well, they're not paid. When was the last time they were paid? If they are not paying, well, how much exactly were they paying before? What is the impact of that on our bottom line? What is the time horizon we're willing to let this client continue not to pay and be giving them service? Is there one of those at all? These are things that could have been done and still can very well be done with Excel formulas. But that's for people who are really good with Excel. That's for our accountants. That's for our CFOs, our vice presidents of finance. And if we need some of these numbers done by more junior employees, which can happen in finance departments, well, it could take them a long time to do that. But now it doesn't have to. And once again, that's the kind of power we're talking about here. That's the kind of difference maker where we can now focus that employee on tasks that they use to bring value to the business and not just looking through a spreadsheet, which is valuable, but there's so much more. We all know there's so much more that people can be doing with their time. So, email, Outlook, right? Think about this. You were on vacation. I'm going to paint this picture for you. You were on vacation for the last week, and you had a wonderful time in the Poconos. Well, you get back from vacation. You sit down at your desk. First thing I'm sure we all do is we open our email, right? Oh, no, there is 2,000 new emails that we now have to sort through. If you have bad email rules, or even if you have great email rules, maybe there's 600 emails that you have to sit there and sort through that are valuable. Well, that doesn't have to be the case. There's AI systems out there that can categorize and help you do this, and even help you reply and recuperate some of that Monday. For the purpose of this next example, though, what I want to focus on is something a little more broad that the whole team can use, because not everyone's getting a few thousand emails when they're on vacation. The average employee might be getting 20 to 50, right? We all kind of know that number. So if we're talking the average employee, they were on vacation in the Poconos for the week, they come back, they have 250 emails. They still have to sit down and write responses to all these emails. It's going to take some time, right? Take the day. It'll take them the day, or at least half of it. Well, we can use AI to fix our tonality, to write our emails, to do all the fun things we need it to do. And then all we have to do is look at what it said before we send this response, make sure it matches what we want it to say, and click send. Now, for the purpose of this example and to keep consistency through the entire webinar. Once again, we have our tried and true ChatGPT on the screen. There are systems there. You may have heard of them. There's stuff like professionally.ai. I believe Grammarly has one as well that integrate directly into your email client and would make this one step smoother. But since ChatGPT is so widely available, I'm sure a lot of you have already dipped your toe in and used it. We're going to keep using ChatGPT here. What you can see is one of our team members, they have an email and they're just not 100% confident in it, right? So they're pasting in, they want to be more professional and address the customer's real needs. Look at how fast, look at this, look over here, how fast AI rewrote that. It even gave him a subject. He didn't have a subject before. Now there's a subject there. And let me say, this new email sounds substantially better than the old email. The old email basically just saying, hey, we improved our formula, check it out, try it for yourself. The new one saying that we are thrilled to announce our new and improved formula. Be sure to check your local convenience store and experience the enhanced taste. This is the type of messaging that we would prefer, at least over the first one. And as your AI gets to learn you, and if you read the books that I'll give you all, you'll kind of learn how to customize it a little bit better. You can really refine this. This can become very tailored and very you-sounding and keep your brand alive through all your employees. Slide decks. Well, you can do a lot with slide decks. So one, you can turn reports into executive decks. So we have our team do this, and it used to take them 2 or 3 hours, and they had a template to sift through the report, find out the data we'd want. Our reports weren't that long, like 5 pages. They had a little bit of time to sift through the report and then pull the key data, format it into the slideshow, make sure it looks good, make sure the branding and the colors are on point and all that fun stuff. Eliminate that. I never want to see anyone doing that ever again. All it takes now is uploading the report like we've showcased before and asking AI to turn it into a slide-based overview. The only thing left once that's done would be making it look pretty. It will take a little bit of time. As you progress your AI skills, let me tell you, you won't even have to do that anymore. Would you believe it if I told you that all the formatting, at least, not the information on this one, but all the formatting of this slide deck was done with AI? Because it was, and it took next to 0 seconds of my day. All I had to do was tell it what I was looking for and give it the information that I knew I needed to present today. That's the kind of stuff that we can pass along to our employees, recuperate their time, get them back to the core mission, the thing that we're all trying to accomplish with our businesses. So let's take a look here. You can see once again, we have our build complications document, right? Here we're going to have our employee generate a slideshow that is well formatted. So it'll be well formatted. It won't be pretty. It won't have the colors or anything else, but it'll be all right and professional looking. That gives an overview of the attached document is essentially what he's about to type in there. So even though the word professional was spelled wrong, it got it right off the bat. And then it's going to start breaking it down. It says, okay, well, let's look at this 20-page report. It's going to pull the format of each slide one at a time and what sort of thing should be listed on it. Now, when this is all said and done, our employee here will then ask the AI to put it into a PowerPoint format, which it will also do. It'll generate the PowerPoint for us right then and there. The only thing it won't do is make that PowerPoint have colors and everything else that's pretty. If this is a major source of time in your day is making PowerPoints, I would highly encourage you to reach out to me and my team here. There is a way to do that. It takes a few extra steps and we don't quite have time in the 30 minutes of this webinar that I'm already 5 minutes over on to dive into making it pretty each time. But there is a way, and I'd be happy to walk you through that. Drop a line to my team. I'll put the phone number at the end here, but it's 877-807-1332. So if that's for you, let us know. So what else is happening? I need to kind of speed run this because I am a little over already. Just get so passionate talking about AI. Well, the bad news here for everyone on the call is that AI is actively being used by cyber criminals every single day. What's it doing? Well, it's powering phishing emails that are now actually spelled correctly. So no longer are the days where you can look at the email and go, oh, well, everything's misspelled and they spelled my last name wrong and the company is located in the wrong spot. So it's definitely a phishing email. The new AI-based phishing emails are accurate to a T. They are so accurate, actually, that spelling mistakes might be a sign that a human wrote the email now instead of an AI. That's how accurate we're talking. And they're able to mimic writing styles. So if you have employees out there, think marketing and salespeople, that do a lot of stuff on the web and they're trying to connect and there's a lot of their content out there, well, their style can be very easily absorbed by AI and then used to phish your employees. So training has never been more important than it is right now. What's next up? Well, they can deepfake audio and video. You may have heard the news stories about this. It's extremely concerning. AI can now call you and sound exactly like your son or your daughter or your cousin or your grandma, and they can ask for money. So imagine what that could be for your employees. An AI can call them, and if you're an active executive or owner, you have a lot of your audio out there, well, the AI that's calling your employee might sound exactly like you. And it might say, hey, the team's been doing such a good job recently. I'm really proud of all of you guys. I want to buy everyone here an extravagant gift. All I need you to do is send me over some gift cards. But I'm just tied up right now. I have too many meetings. Would you be able to do this for me? How many of your employees would do that if it sounded just like you? Think about that. There's certainly some. I mean, it happens every single day. So training. So important once again. One more, automated malware. This is scary, right? Old antivirus systems are just not going to cut it anymore when AI can tailor the attack and circumvent things that used to protect you. The result here is that attacks are more convincing and more dangerous. And you need to be mindful. What else happens? Well, AI-powered password cracking. Before, brute force attacks would try thousands of combinations in a minute. Now with AI-powered password cracking, you can try millions of combinations in a minute. A much faster way to compromise your systems. And another really strong reason to use multi-factor authentication. I'm sure your tech teams have mentioned it before. If you're not using it, you need to start. It's definitely time. Social engineering, huge. I got a call just the other day. I was in a meeting with my team, but when I get sales calls, because I have my sales team here, and that's what I was meeting with. If I get a sales call when I'm in those meetings, I always like to answer it because we like to see how the person who's calling in is going to try to sell us their service. Like, what are they doing? Is there something we can adapt? And is the service itself useful? So we get one and answer the phone. I go, hey, this is Michael, X Solutions IT. And the gentleman on the other end of the line sounds cordial, knows what he's talking about, but I'm in the AI industry. And there's just the smallest little hint in my gut. It says this person is an AI. So I ask a question that still answers correct, but it gave me a tell where I knew 100% it was an AI. And I'm working with this stuff every single day. Every single day I see this stuff. And even I, when I took this call, had to stop myself and go, wait a second. Is this a human that I'm talking to right now? Is this an AI? I can't, it's getting real close. It's getting real close. Can I tell? So think about another 6 months from now. then what, right? If it's starting to be good enough for me, I guarantee it is going to be good enough for your employees. So we need to train them. Last but not least, think about an extravagant new call center. Got 50 guys. They're sitting down at the desk. They're making their calls. They are peddling their services. What do you think the service is? What if I told you the service was ransomware and malware and phone scams? Most people think, when they think of a hacker, so it's sitting in some dingy basement somewhere and it's falling apart and there you have junk food all over the place and just not a pleasant place to see. Well, while those people may exist, the truth of the matter is that a lot of these places are run like an office, like yours or mine, and they have employees, and they have management, and they have tools, and systems, and all of these gadgets. Well, think now about AI. If it can enhance your efficiency, I've only been talking about this for 40 minutes. I'm sorry for the overage here, but I've only talked about this for 40 minutes. I know for a fact that there's things in here that people are going to take away and use. Well, think about if someone had a day to train on AI, and the only thing they're training on is the best way to compromise your business, because that's what's happening. That is what's happening out there. It's making attacking businesses easier than ever before. Ever before. Anyone can pick it up. It doesn't take training or cybersecurity skills or anything else like that. They can hire someone off the street, promise them a decent salary, bring them in, and that person is now the cyber criminal attacking your business. The good news, the positive to that, is that AI can also protect you through continuous monitoring, threat intelligence, incident response, and business resilience. These are the 4 points. There's way more, though. There's way, way more. So essentially, by integrating AI into the next generation of antivirus, something we in the industry call MDR, Managed Detection and Response, we are able to 24/7 be monitoring for the types of threats that AI can produce and counter them. So if you don't know if you're using MDR right now, well, that's something to talk to your tech team, your tech people about, or give us a call. We could take a look at that for you as well. So you need to be sure on this. You don't want to let ransomware take you down. A lot of businesses, I'm going to draw a blank on the percentage here. It's a staggering, it's like 60-70% of businesses that are attacked with ransomware, if they're a small business, shut down 6 months after the fact. Do you want to risk that? Is that a risk you're willing to take? Because that wouldn't be a risk I'm willing to take. So check in with your technicians. Make sure that the next generation of antivirus, MDR, is deployed for you, not the last generation of like Norton antivirus. You don't want that in your business. I mentioned at the start that I want to give you all some stuff, and I really do. This is all powerful stuff here. One is the Productive AI ebook that this presentation is based off of. I'm going to email a copy of this to every single person who is on the webinar. But there's 2 other things I want to give you here. I want to give you an AI efficiency and readiness assessment. So if you're on this webinar and you want that, email me. My email is right there, michael@xsolutions, to say AI stuff. The other thing that I want to give away is a free dark web scan. Is your information already out there being sold, picked up by AIs, and used? You need to know that, because if you don't know, you won't know how to prevent it. So I'm going to give away a free dark web scan to everyone who's on this webinar. It's a webinar exclusive one there. The archive of this is going to go up, but these 2, if you weren't registered and attending this webinar, can't give them away for free right now. I can give you the book. I cannot give you the other 2. So that's for you all. Email me, say AI stuff, and we can get that set up for you. Last but not least, X Solutions. Who are we? What do we do? Well, if you didn't know by now, are IT, cybersecurity, and have an expertise in AI as well. And we have plans starting as low as $9.99 that can protect you from AI, that get you a partner that knows AI, that's in the door, that's in the industry. So if that's something that interests you, you can email me, Michael@XSolutions, like on the former slide. You can call my team, anything like that. The core message I want everyone who's watching this to take away, though, is that now is the time to get into AI. Your competitors are already doing it. So if you're not doing it, you're going to fall behind the pack. If you don't know how to get started, well, I think we gave you a good first step from the race right here. If you need additional hand-holding and encouragement, well, I'm here for you. I'm always going to be here for you. Drop me a line with any questions you have. Take a read through the book. Drop me a line with any questions that come from that. If you're looking to do something specific, I'm always here. Reach out. I'd be happy to help. Now, normally I'd like to take questions at this time, but I know I've already overextended myself by 16 minutes here, and I do see some people are already heading on out. So what I'm going to do is end it here. But if you have any questions, I encourage you, give me that call, give me that email. I'd be happy to take some time, carve some time out, and chat. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending. This is the first webinar in a monthly series of webinars now that we will be doing all the time. I look forward to continuing this adventure and seeing more and more of you join us here and learning about AI, technology, and where the industry is heading. So keep an eye out for future emails. We'll invite you to more webinars, and have a great rest of your day. A wonderful holiday weekend. Bye-bye.